Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Retro Recall. I hope you're doing awesome. Thrift Finds episode number 6. I can't believe it's already been 3 months since the last Thrift Finds video that we've done on the Retro Recall. I love doing these types of videos. I love to showcase all the cool little things that I find in my travels. I thought about filming my travels. I know other YouTubers do that. But to be honest with you, it's quite difficult to do that. Not that I wouldn't be willing to do it, but there's just so many places I go to over that period of 3 months that it's getting harder and harder to locate these items. And to be honest with you, a lot of people have stopped taking the items to thrift stores. They're either donating them, throwing them to e-waste without any thought or another question as to where they should go with it, or they're putting on online marketplaces such as Facebook and eBay and Kijiji and things like that. So I'm fortunate enough to still have some contacts. So again, thank you so much to Aaron, Jordan, Ryan, and Carl, who have either donated to me or have gone and directed me to certain things at certain thrift stores and said, hey, take a look at this, or have picked things up for me so that, I'm able to do things like this. So you know what? We have lots to do today. Let's get right to it. And item number 1, we have some floppy disks. Yay! I laugh, but to be honest with you, finding floppy disks on the wild is becoming much more rare. And, especially brand new old stock, it's sometimes I'll find them in like cases, those open, lockable cases that are already written on, and I just format them and use the discs and recover them the best way I can. But having new old stock is really nice as well. So we have TDK high density formatted 1.44 megabyte, 3.5 inch floppy disk, lifetime warranty. I wonder if TDK would actually honor the warranty at this stage. IBM N compatibles 50 discs. So here we are. I mean, pretty awesome having that in there. And I opened it up, and sure enough, they're all wrapped in there with our nice labels, our TDK labels that we're able to put on the individual discs as needed. Remember those days? You got floppy disks, go home and put them in, write your resume or something over to them and go from there. And my goodness, things have changed so much over the years. And it goes on, tells you about the actual warranty and what have you. But again, awesome to have on the channel because I use these quite a bit for different testing and things like that with different systems. All right, let's go on to item number 2. We have not one, but 2 3DFX Voodoo cards. And whenever I see these, I just grab them up as quickly as I can. 3DFX was extremely popular in the late 90s, early 2000s, and I had a special place in my heart. I had a Creative Labs 3DFX card, and very excited to find these. I do have a few 3DFX cards already, but 2 of these were literally in a bag at Value Village, no less, for $5.99. This card alone is a Voodoo 3000, I believe, assuming it works, going on eBay for ridiculous prices. Now, I don't sell my stuff, but, to a collector and things like that, these are worth their weight in gold. And, quite frankly, myself, I just love having them for the ability to run different games and for, my personal collection. Finding this for the pack for $5.99, I just thought was absolutely amazing. And, this card here, it says 3DFX on it. I'm not exactly sure what this card is, to be honest with you. I don't know if it's a Voodoo 2 card. Let me know down in the comments, basically. So, I'm going to give you a kind of a better view of the card, but please let me know down in the comments what you think this particular card is. I'd be really interested to know. But again, something you luck out when you're walking around in the wild. Keep your eyes open. You never know what you're going to find. And hopefully these cards work. All right, on to item number 3. Okay, our next item is a Hewlett-Packard desktop PC, and I still grab these whenever I get a chance if they look to be in good condition, because it's really fun to see what kind of components came with them, as well as if they still work and what we can do with them. So we have a Hewlett-Packard Pavilion Slimline, they call it, S3700F PC, full PC functionality in 1/3 the size. So what really interests me about this, I don't grab every single one of these I find. Usually, to be honest with you, I'm donated these systems or get them fairly cheaply, but this was at a thrift store, and it says AMD Athlon X2 5000 dual-core processor. I don't have a lot of AMD CPU-based systems, and so I want to start showcasing some of these and doing some benchmarking compared to their Intel counterparts on the channel. And I say that because it's been something that's been mentioned a lot in the comments. So it says here, NVIDIA GeForce 6150 SE graphics, and says provides incredible images and visual effects. I'm sure, integrated graphics, all that fun stuff. And we have 3 gigabytes of system memory, 320 gigabytes of hard disk space, a DVD burner with LightScribe technology. Makes personalized silkscreen quality labels. I've never ever did that. I really want to feature that on the channel someday. I've been told I'll be extremely disappointed. And of course, our favorite operating system above and beyond Windows Millennium Edition is Windows Vista Home Premium with Service Pack 1 comes pre-installed. 1-year limited PC hardware warranty with 24/7 support, featuring HP Media Smart software suite, power button, 15-in-1 card reader, optical media drive bay, and a Hewlett-Packard Pocket media drive bay sold separately. There's that small media bay again. So I really need to get a couple of those because I want to try them out. I love when they keep the original stickers on these systems because, first off, this is telling me, especially with the software suite, that there's an image online somewhere, hopefully, crossing fingers, that I can get this and do a full restoration on this PC in a separate video. Next is a mouse, an IBM branded mouse. The reason I grab these is because when they're in good shape like this, it is IBM branded. And when I see these types of mice, usually it has Lenovo written here. So whenever I see these hanging up in a thrift store, I just grab them, add them to my mouse collection, because I have a few IBM branded desktops and laptops and things like that, as you know. And I like to have the branded peripherals to go with those systems. All right, now we're going to move on to our next item. Okay, next we have our advanced Gravis analog joystick for IBM and compatible computers. Includes free software. Ooh, choices. Choose your free software title from list on side panel. All right, included with your advanced Gravis product is a free copy of Arcade Hit Commander Keen and Gravis Utilities, a joystick test and calibration program. So, you can choose a bonus software for Prince of Persia, Night Shift, F-19, Stealth Fighter, PGA Tour Golf. To obtain your choices bonus, indicate your choice on the enclosed product registration card. So whenever I see these in the wild, I just grab them. I have tons of game pads, different things like that, but you never know what you're going to find when you're out there. The actual movements of the hardware feels really, really good. Usually I get these, they seem to be a little worn out. I mean, overall, having this in working condition, given the age of it, is pretty awesome. And the fact that the software comes on a 5.25-inch floppy disk is even better. It says 1991 Advanced Gravis Computer Technology Limited. So really awesome to see, and hopefully it does work. Again, I didn't test any of this stuff. Generally, I don't. If it's only a couple bucks and I find it, I grab it, and then we experience the joy together on the channel. All right, let's go on to our next item. Did someone say, let's hit that play button on that VHS player? Well, I certainly did. Here we are with some Memorex high-grade 6-hour VHS tapes. You know this on the channel. Every single time I see media like this, I grab it, specifically when it's sealed. And I do that because I have tons of VHS players, and I still haven't featured any of those on the channel yet. I have to do it. People have mentioned it down in the comments. I'd like to see some of those on the Retro Recall. They're $5 for this set of 6. I see these selling online on marketplaces and other places for a lot more than that. And especially when they're sealed like this. Now, that said, I was also told by people that have experience with this stuff is that when you do open these up and put them in a working VHS player, to rewind and fast forward it. That way, if there's any sort of, issue with the tape, it just comes completely free and it kind of activates and moves the tape around so there's no issues. Next, we have another CD writer, the Hewlett-Packard 8100 series CD writer plus. Very yellowed, as you can see in the front, compared to the beige counterpart here. Nothing retro brighting can't fix. We have a 4X CD writer, 24X CD reader. So when it says 4X, 24X, this is a rewritable drive. So it does have the ability to write at 4X and rewrite it at 4X as well, I believe. And this was manufactured March of 1999. And, these have a special place in my heart because I've done a video on one of these already, an unboxing of new old stock. I love this because it brings me back a lot of great memories from my father. And I remember begging the great memories that I begged so much for one of these back in the day. It was actually the 7200 series, the 2X version. I did that because I really wanted to be the first guy on the block to be able to copy and write music to CDRs. Had a lineup outside my door for mixed CDs. But either way, it was really cool, and it brings back a lot of good memories. So whenever I see these on the wild, I definitely grab them and add to the collection. All right, let's see what's next. Keeping on with the CDRW optical drive theme, we have a Creative Labs CDRW 8432X drive. And what I really love about these drives, first off, I love Creative Labs, similar to the Hewlett-Packard line at this time, but the fact they were so colorful in their design and the looks of the optical drive, specifically when you upgraded systems. All right, let's see what's next. Did someone say keyboards? Well, I don't think you did, but I did. We have a Sony VAIO keyboard. It's one thing I don't have. I have a Sony VAIO desktop that was donated to the channel by Susan, Ann, and Patty. I already did a restoration video on that. If you haven't checked that out, please do. It's right there. I just love the Sony VAIO look. That was one of those cool systems that I just found so expensive back in the day that I could never get my hands on them. So now I'm trying to get my hands on them. And whenever I see Sony-based stuff, I definitely grab them. And this keyboard seemed to be in excellent shape. It looks like it's missing the kind of the palm rest that would be attached to it in this specific design. But overall, I mean, sturdy keyboard, feels really nice to type on. I mean, it's no Model M for sure, but pretty cool. What's even better is in my travels, I found the following. Another Sony VAIO keyboard, but this is still brand new. This literally has never been opened. I don't have the box, but I do have the keyboard and the original packaging. Looking at the bottom, I mean, it's $6 from a thrift store. You get your Sony keyboard without any dirt or any yellowing at all. I mean, everything feels so good. Even inside, you can see down inside, usually you have a lot of dirt down inside where the keys are. There's literally zero. This has never been used or touched. So it's nice to have a brand new one. So the next time, like I said, eventually I'm going to find a Sony VAIO PC, one of those multimedia ones. I really love the looks of them, and at least I'll have the keyboard for it now. And I have a few mice as well. All right, let's keep going. Okay, next we have this really cool cable, and it's something that I saw in a thrift store. Value Village was a specific one I went to, but it was neat. I hadn't seen one of these cables before. So it is a DIN 5, so AT style connector, but it's, look, you put the connector, it's an extension cable. So you put obviously this end into the computer itself. So I like the design of it. And then over here, you put your extension in, but it also allows you to lock that into place when you put your cable in. I think that's so cool. Definitely something, one of those things you don't see every day, especially in AT style. So it's pretty cool to grab. And then over here, we have some CDRs. Now, I have no idea if these have suffered from disk rot. It is a sealed box of Maxell CD-R 650 megabyte CD recordable discs. Record up to 8x compatible. Ooh, 74 minutes. For me, this is more nostalgic than it was useful at all. I mean, I have tons of CDRs. There was a local store that was clearing them out for $2 for a 10 or $2 for a 20 pack. I forget what it was. When it comes to this was more nostalgic for me because back in the day when I had one of my original CD writers, these were the discs that were sitting on the shelves at the time. So when I saw this, it was one of the brands I had when I was a kid. So I grabbed it, especially new old stocks. And we have a 2-button mouse by Micro Innovations in a bag. I'm going to open it up. It was a thrift store again, a couple bucks at a thrift store, and it looked to be new old stock. I mean, it was never open. I mean, look, you can see so there's dust on it, but it's just a regular 2-button mouse, and it says it's PS2 is the form factor, lifetime warranty, model PD39P. And it says here, sure grip design, lifetime warranty, pretty basic stuff. Package contains a 2-button mouse for PS2 form factor and quick installation guide. So whenever I find these, especially new old stock, I grab them, especially for a new mouse for the older design. I specifically grab them if it shows the 9-pin serial because, you know, they're getting much harder to find, especially in new old stock and or in really good condition. So without really requiring refurbishment. So I try to grab them as quickly as possible. Okay, let's see what's next. So you can't have a Thrift Finds video without big box software. That's right, IBM ViaVoice for Windows Release 10. I did a video on IBM ViaVoice for Windows 95, which would have been my original software that I got when I was a kid, and I had used so often. Basically, you put a headset on, the software allows you to dictate into the computer and give commands to the computer for different applications. So like saying file, exit, save, things like that, as well as dictation to type, like for doing reports or doing Excel documents and things like that. This was so cool. You're thinking back in the day, 1995, when I had the original software, and this I believe was 98 to 2000, having software that much more advanced, even the 95 stuff worked fairly well. I can only imagine that this works even better. I mean, this was really the stuff that laid the foundation for where we are today for our voice recognition stuff. So it's really cool to see. You talk, it types, IBM ViaVoice, headset microphone included, dictate letters and reports, and navigate Internet Explorer. Standard edition, good for home and small business use. Okay, our next item is a motherboard. And so when I was at a thrift store and I found this particular box, I thought, oh, this is what's in it. It's an Elite Group motherboard, L7VMM3. I never thought much of it and just grabbed it. And, that's it. Again, it was only $4, didn't really mind. But when I opened it up and looked inside, it's not what was actually in the, it's not that motherboard that's in here. So let's move the box away for a second so everybody can see. But we essentially have a socket 7 motherboard, and I'm trying to see who the manufacturer of this board is. I'm just taking a look. I don't see it offhand, but essentially it is a socket 7 CPU based motherboard. We have SIS 5598 chipset. We have 4 EDO memory banks. But the nice thing about this is it has the metal clips and not those plastic cheapies. It's ATX powered, which is even better. We have our 2 IDE headers. A floppy header hanging out? Yeah, we do. Looks like we have some additional headers, but the nice thing about this as well, besides the fact that it also has PCI and ISA, it has that beautiful coin cell battery, so we're not too worried about any sort of battery leakage. The capacitors themselves all look really good. Again, this is on first glance. We have an ESS audio drive integrated chipset into the motherboard, and we also have our back I/O shield, which is even better. So it shows all the different ports that we have. And again, I'll feature this in a separate video for sure. It'd be interesting to get this going and see if it posts to see if it actually works or if I completely got hosed. All right, let's on to our next item. And here's our next item on the bench. It is a Mac all-in-one. I believe it's a 27-inch version. I don't have it flipped around because essentially it's just a mirror image of everything in this room. You don't need to see all that right now, but essentially we'll work on this. But this was donated to the channel by Aaron, and essentially he told me that the system just is not working. He's not able to get it up and running. So it'd be really interesting. I said, yeah, throw it my way and we'll see if we can feature a video on the channel where we basically take this apart and find out what the heck is going on with it. I don't have a lot of Mac stuff, so it is something nice to feature on the channel if we can get this up and running. But again, this is one of those things, and I classify a donation as something I would feature in the Thrift Finds video. If I didn't get it, it would have been sent to e-waste, which I probably would have intercepted, or it would have ended up in a thrift store and sold as is for $10 or something. So again, it doesn't hurt to show everybody this cool find, and I think it'll be really cool to feature on the channel. Okay, our next item was donated to the channel as well. It's a Hewlett-Packard laptop from, I think, probably early 2000s, based on the kind of like the coloring and the design. We're not going to go over this laptop in detail right now because we'll save it for a video, but it is missing the battery. There's our array of ports that you can see. I just love this kind of generation of laptop. Really brings me back. I believe this is the Windows XP era. We have built-in integrated volume controls and all those good things, PCM CIA, even a modem. This might be where the hard disk is located. I'd have to dig in further and find out. But it does have the memory and the wireless card intact, missing the plastic ports, of course. But again, it's a Pavilion ZE or ZE 4800, Windows XP Home Edition. I'm not seeing a date anywhere on it, but overall, it's in really good condition. Even the screen looks pretty good. And the fact that I can find parts for these in my bin will be helpful, so we can get this up and running. And I love the fact that it has a matte LCD and not that glossy screen. I'm a little concerned about why this is all lifted up and these buttons aren't aligning right now, so we'll have to figure that out. It does say it comes with Altec Lansing speaker system, so it'd be cool to try that out. The only thing about this that I have an issue with is not the fact it doesn't even come with a power adapter. It's the fact that the center pin for the power is just inside. It looks like it broke off and is just inside. Now, generally, two things can happen. The pin breaks off, which is okay, fine. You just kind of deal with it. But the second thing is it could have, the motherboard where it's attached to in that corner or that charging assembly could be broken off the PCB. So it might be a lot more of a repair than what I think it is. Now, I do see a missing screw here. I do see a crack along the bezel, and I do see another crack as well around the power. So this is probably dropped at some point with that in there. That was very common with these machines back in the day. You'd have it plugged in, drop it, it would come off the wall, or it would snap off inside, or people thought they were ambitious and they would try to fish out something or fish the wire outside of there. But unfortunately, that's not always the case. But in this particular case, there's definitely some damage, physical damage. But I like a good challenge. So I think it'll be a really cool video to see if we can get this computer up and running. All right, let's move on to our final item. We have a Sun Microsystems, looks like a tape drive. So it says here, it says digital data storage 3DDS3. It says tape and clean, and it is Sun Microsystems branded. And I believe it is a SCSI interface. Yeah, sure enough. So we do have our terminator. We have our in and out SCSI drive cables. We have a power connection with an on-off switch, which, I mean, just looks to be in excellent condition. I'm keep on saying I'm going to do a Sun video. I've gotten comments. Thank you for reaching out. I know everyone's eager to see, because I now have two Sun systems. But what I'm doing is I'm collecting all of these parts because I want to feature a full-featured Sun system setup. Say that 10 times fast. But essentially, I want to try to do this on a video where we actually take one of the desktops that I have and hook up, say, this with the Sun monitor, Sun keyboard, Sun mouse, and try to have everything interact with everything and work with each other. And it looks like you can actually remove this by the looks of things, but I mean, I see that there's a screw here that's kind of tamper-proof by the looks of things. So yeah, definitely something to try out. But anytime I see something Sun branded, I have a really good friend that is a good resource for me for Sun stuff. He grew up with Sun equipment, Unix systems, so he'll be giving me some guidance through making the video. But again, something really cool to come across. Again, online marketplaces, wasn't a thrift store find, but the person who sold it to me took pity in the fact that I already had a Sun system and basically gave it away. Cool to have. I have the cables for it, but we're going to look at trying to complete that Sun system. All right, well, that's it for the stuff now. Let's go to our outro. And here we are at the end of Thrift Finds episode 6, and still a lot of cool goodies that have been found over the last 3 months. It's getting a little slimmer, as I mentioned before, but a lots for us to dig into on the channel. And again, I can't do this without all of your views, all of your support, all of your comments, all the interaction. I love every bit of it. And special call out to Aaron, Jordan, Ryan, and Carl. Again, your support means so much to the Retro Recall. You basically donate things to the channel or help me find things or point things out to say, hey, have you seen this? Bring it to my attention. That makes all the world difference, so I can make sort of content like this. And again, we're keeping these things out of the landfill, and all of these eventually find a home in terms of being paired with a computer or installed in a system or used for a computer or again featured in another video. And I'm really, really excited to have found those 2 3DFX cards. I think that's a major win in this haul, as well as that Sun tape drive. And yes, I will be featuring a Sun video in the near future. That said, if you liked today's video, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button. Makes a world of difference, helps this channel grow. We're approaching 13,000 subscribers, so hit that subscribe button and let's hit that 13,000. Please leave a comment down below. Did you own any of these cool finds? Let me know down in the comments. Share your experiences. I love them. I love the interaction on the channel. I respond to absolutely every comment. Always making new content. We'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.